Okay, you can see here, that's going to be a little tough one in the long run to manage, because those pavers, they have to use a weed eater there, or they're going to have to figure out how they mow that. And with little patches like that in between, that's not going to last too long before it's damaged and it needs to be replaced. As we're walking through here, there is a little bit of shade, and whether it's St. Augustine or Zoysia, they're going to need partial sun most of the day. It only handles a partial shade, but as you can see, as we're walking through here, there is, thinning, and that thinning is due to that shade. And especially here, that's not a fungal disease, it's basically rotting. The soil is too moist, there's shade, and there is excess water. So I adjusted that irrigation to twice a week to test, because we need to be able to cut the water down to be able to test. A lot of your plants might need more water. It's an adjustment and see as you go thing, but it's got a lot of water right now in a lot of places. The ones that are in full sun, they're doing way better, especially the front, because it has full sun, as you can see. But you've got some, fungal issue. I don't know how long ago these were planted. On the clusias, I'm going to take you around, send you a video. These are going to be tough to deal with fungus in the long run. They're going to get it, and they're just very succulent, very plants that we can't cover under warranty service. These right here, because they're just not hardwood shrubs. They're too delicate. If you can see, you've got your clusias, and the clusias, are recently planted, so they're yellowing a bit. That should recover fine. Keeping water off of them, the irrigation system needs to be adjusted, because then you'll get the spots, and that's an indication of fungal disease, of over watering on the top. They can't take direct watering. Your palm trees are eventually going to need fertilizing. I know they were probably recently planted. They don't look too old. Those palm trees are going to need fertilizer in the long run, and this is one of those plants where it will get fungal disease with overhead watering. So overhead watering is a big problem with certain these plants, that you're going to basically have to be constantly treating them with a fungicide. This looks really good. If you can tolerate this, if this is acceptable to you, then that's pretty much, you're going to get it a lot of times of the year, especially when it gets cold. There's also going to be snails, and we can't control snails. We don't have any more products to control snails that are available for landscape that don't have to be applied weekly. So if snails become a problem, you're going to need to manage that on a weekly basis. Your ligustrum has fungus. It's a common tree that gets a lot of fungal disease. Like I said, if this is acceptable to you, that's great. If it's not, then it needs to be sprayed pretty much on a monthly basis. So going out to the front, right here where we have this king sago, it has Asian scale. The problem with Asian scale is there is only one solution, and that's oil treatments, minimum on a monthly basis, to keep it kind of under control. It's suppressed. It is never controlled, because they're resistant to every insecticide. There is no treatment for Asian scale right now on sago palms. You can see the front looks really good, because it gets, it's also the sago. Here's your sago. It's got some disease. That needs to be sprayed on a regular basis to control that disease. So there's a lot going on here in your landscape. This one looks really good, because it gets a lot more sun, looks like, during the day. We will see what's going on with that. This is eventually, if this isn't treated or isn't changed out, it's going to encroach over here, and if you get grass weeds over here, we're not going to be able to solve that problem, because there is no treatment for grass weeds. Another thing I saw is you got some rodent stations outside. I don't know who's managing those for you, but those rodent stations are not legal. They need to be weighted. If that box gets hot and the bait gets loose, a child or a dog can pick this up and they can turn it over and the bait can come out. So those, if you're having a company do that, they need to put weighted stations. If you're doing this yourself, understand that that's a huge liability you have there. Other than that, like I said, you got issues, little fungal issues, minor. It all depends. These heliconias are going to need shade. They're a shaded plant, so they're in a good place if they're getting good amount of shade. If they start getting too much sun and they start getting chlorotic, meaning they're not producing any chlorophyll or they're yellow, it's because of sun. There isn't any fertilizer to be added to that, but they're going to be in that spot. Like I said, you've got a little bit of fungal disease. It could be some snail damage there. Other than that, everything's looking good. This palm, it looks like it's right there, the bottom leaf is fine. So a lot of things look good, a lot of things look minor. It all depends on what your tolerance level is going to be for perfection or imperfection, and that's going to depend upon what you're going to need in management. Understanding that if the irrigation system is irrigating the plants, and it should be irrigating the soil, not the plant, you're going to have an increase in fungal disease, especially when we get the drops in temperatures, because they're triggers. Fungal disease are all driven by triggers. There's nothing we can really do to prevent them.